Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. We'll start our conversation about an organization that's mission is to elevate the Wisconsin economy to be the best in the world by providing a positive business climate, world-class support services, and economic development tools to accelerate business startup, attraction, and growth. I'm referring to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, and here to tell us more about it is Tricia Braun, who is the Deputy Secretary and COO for the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Good morning, Tricia.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. And if you would, start right off telling us more about the WEDC and what it is you do.
Absolutely. The Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation is the state's leading economic development group. We were formed in 2011, and it was formerly the Department of Commerce. But the state, public, private, the business leaders, regional economic development partners wanted a state economic development group that was more flexible, more nimble, able to more quickly respond to needs of the businesses and the economy. And so WEDC was formed. And since then, they have really taken a look at how they could deploy services and leverage partnerships and all of the good work that's happening in the state to better and further promote economic development in Wisconsin. A lot of the activities are around, like you said, entrepreneurship, startups, business growth, business expansion, and really kind of building an overall capacity for the continued growth in those areas.
And so it's my understanding that it was one of Governor Scott Walker's first initiatives after taking office to actually create the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. So with entrepreneurship and innovation being extremely important when you talk about business, how in fact does the WEDC provide support for entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that we look to, because we're a state organization and we touch so many different facets, is that we needed to find out where the gaps were. You know, a business continuum has certain needs at each point of its stage of growth, and so looking to see what services weren't being provided. You know, the universities, they bring a ton of resources to the table, both in terms of just intellect and the actual research and technology that comes out of it. Our UW system, including extension offices, they also provide services, and not to mention, you know, angel investors, every you know, different group that's out there. So we just looked at, okay, so where could we help provide? So what we've done is provided programs that match or supplement what other groups are doing. For example, there's seed accelerators that match regional funds and then also provide services for startup and growing companies. And you'll see projects like that throughout the state. We also have programs that can provide startup finances for new technologies, or investor tax credits for growing emerging companies. So and that's where part of that ability to be flexible and to adapt and change as either the resources mature or the needs change, so that we can adapt to that.
Very interesting. So how do you actually go about promoting Wisconsin as a business-friendly location? Because part of the goal, as we've stated thus far in the conversation, is to attract new business.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Absolutely. Well, I'm very proud of how far we've come in a short amount of time and our ability to do that. I think if you go to any commercial real estate event across the country, the reputation of Wisconsin has been elevated probably to you know, an unprecedented and respected level. In terms of just having something to market, understanding that our business climate has improved dramatically, that we have had programs and tools put in place that really matter to businesses, our tax climate for those companies that, you know, kind of drive our economy have become so much more competitive and appealing to large companies. So just, you know, it's one thing to promote it and it's one thing to talk about it, but then to actually have the results and the voices of the company that have either been here and have continued to invest and expand here, or those that have located and had a great experience since doing so.
Makes a lot of sense. And Wisconsin's economy, needless to say, is driven by manufacturing, agriculture, and healthcare. So it's also the nation's leading producer of cheese. So with that said, the Wisconsin delegation will soon be traveling to Germany, France, and Spain on a trade mission, and that's going to happen the week of April 12th through the 20th. So for those who don't know, We're interested in knowing what actually happens on a trade mission.
Well, in this particular trip, there is a large show in Hanover Messe in Germany that is a manufacturing trade show. And so some of the companies that are going will participate in that. And it's a great opportunity for them to connect with other suppliers or vendors or attract new clients to their business. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is actually identifying potential markets for what their company could tap into and to find additional clients. And so, if they have decided that this is an area they want to explore and they want to join us on the trade mission, a consultant that is in those countries will do kind of a market assessment for them and somewhat of a matchmaking for meetings that they can actually go into with a higher potential of coming back with new clients or new connections for their export needs.
And when we talk about job creation, it's so important to people not only across the state, but specifically here in the city of Milwaukee. People want to see more jobs so that we can put more people to work, obviously. So the state adopted the slogan, Open for Business, back in 2011, and Forbes cites that Wisconsin's forecast job picture has improved dramatically since then, moving from number 49 to number 21 in 2014. That is a significant jump. So if you could tell us, how were you able to accomplish that?
Absolutely. It goes back to what I said before. It's the businesses, it's the impact, it's the results that they've shown, it's the testament that they've been able to speak to in terms of the ability to get talented workers, to have access to training programs that really provide customized training for whatever it might be that they do in their operations, or a new piece of equipment or a new technology that they are looking to adapt so that they can be more innovative, more competitive. And then just looking forward, when a company has attract additional investment. So if they have existing operations here, possibly in multiple locations in the state, because of that, they continue to invest in the Wisconsin locations because they see this as having long-term success, as being a place that they feel is ripe for their growth, and they feel comfortable making many times multi-million-dollar investments into their company because of that.
All right, very impressive. And there is a new statewide initiative aimed at attracting and retaining young professionals in this area. So why is it so important to keep young professionals here in the state?
And I guess it goes back to the fundamental issue, and every state in the country, every state, probably even every country could say this, that because of the demographic shifts and cycles that we're going through, that young talent is a valuable commodity to any economy, whether it's a region in the northwest part of the state or it's in the Milwaukee area, whatever it might be. Those talented professionals are going to be what companies look for in a pipeline of those, because they're going to need those new ideas, that innovative mindset that they bring to the table, and just sheer numbers, to be honest. So when we talk about talent attraction and retention, if you look at data numbers, I think the common number that we've been using is that we have been losing about 9,000 young professionals a year.
Wow.
And so that can fluctuate depending on how you define that, what age you start and stop in that metric. But that's scary. We need to reverse that, and we need to look at things in terms of, why are they leaving? Why are they not moving to Wisconsin? Why are they going to other locations? And I think a lot of it is just perception. I think if you talk to young professionals that have moved here and have found great careers here, they'll tell you that they were somewhat surprised. And so that's really where we want to come in and just change that mindset, change the conversation.
That's interesting that you say that, because I moved to Milwaukee when I was 24. And when I was offered a job here working in the media, they were like, what about coming to Milwaukee? And now, honestly, the first thing that came to mind was Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days.
Not beer and cheese?
No, that was the only connection I had, because I'm from Kentucky and I moved here from Ohio, but I did leave and go to the nation's capital, but I came back. So there is something special about the city. It turns into a home away from home, in a sense. So what are some of the things that you feel are important to say to young people about them making this their home long term.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that I love about this YP Week concept is because you know, the millennials, they love to be engaged. They love to feel part of something. You know, whether it's, you know, in a smaller community or a larger community or metro area like Milwaukee is. You know, they want to feel like not only do they have a network of peers, do they have that support system professionally and socially, but that they're having an impact on an area, you know, and then it becomes home and they are invested in it. And so when we had the opportunity to take what Milwaukee has done to such, you know, a successful level and replicate it in areas throughout the state and cities of various sizes, and kind of help learn best practices from each other. I can't think of another state that has done this to this degree, and I think that's just the starting point.
And you did mention YP Week, that's Young Professionals Week, and that's happening April 11th through the 18th, and it's happening across the state of Wisconsin, kicking off in Wausau, concluding in Green Bay, and there are a long list of activities that will be taking place in really getting the attention of young people, and like the whole goal, keeping them here and attracting them here in the first place. So you mentioned Milwaukee, so you have joined forces with a number of organizations in order to bring this initiative about. So who are a few of those who are on board?
Well, I think what started out when we first were talking to Milwaukee about taking on you know, this effort or investing in this effort to try to deploy it statewide. We had a few communities that had somewhat committed and had a young professional group that had already, you know, started talking about doing something. So I think at that time we were at 6 cities, and now we're up to 8 or 9, and everywhere from Wausau to Madison to Sheboygan, you know, just communities of all sizes throughout the state that, you know, have established young professionals group. But the one thing that you know, obviously our job is to align resources and to help people learn from each other, is that if there are communities that still are thinking about this or have a small group of people that are trying to launch a similar effort to participate in some of these events, to go to the YP Week site and check out the menu of activities that are going on and just engage and learn from each other.
All right, and the website is ypweek.com, and people can get a detailed look at everything that is going on. There's more than 85 events that are geared to hosting and gearing towards the networking scenarios for young professionals. So as we wrap up, I'm interested in knowing if you were asked by someone what in fact makes Wisconsin a great place to live.
Wow, there's too many things to list, but I think the quality of life always comes to mind first. You know, when we actually moved from California back here just to get our kids back into the schools, to have the education, to learn the Midwest ethic, and then, you know, the lakes and just the scenery, everything about that. And there's so much to do, so many things that from family activities to, you know, entertainment, arts, culture. It has just kind of the perfect mix of everything, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. So I do thank you so much for coming by and explaining all of the great things that you're doing within the corporation, and best of luck with all of the things you have going on with YP Week.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Tricia Braun is the Deputy Secretary and COO for the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Again, you can log on to their website at wedc.org to learn more about what it is they do. And when we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll learn more about an organization that connects with young professionals so they can be engaged with their community, have access to professional activities, as well as build their network through social interactions. We'll meet the president of Milwaukee right after this.